Hi there. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Mateo Segovia. I am 25. I live in Denver, Colorado. Um, I play in 7 different projects out here. Um, but I wanted to talk about Fender today. Um, I don't, I'm not one that usually posts on YouTube. I'm not some big content creator. I'm not an influencer by any means. But having seen what's going on in the guitar community regarding Fender, I figure I had to talk about it. Everyone I've seen talk about it so far has been a big influencer that I can't say definitely, but I am strongly inclined to believe that they have enough income that they can never play their Fender guitars and keep buying other instruments and be totally fine at the end of the day. I am not one of those people. I make barely enough with my partner to afford this townhouse that I live in currently. I'm not able to go and buy super expensive guitars. This Stratocaster and this Jazzmaster are probably my 2 most expensive instruments. I bought this Strat brand new from Fender or from Tone Shop Guitars in Addison for $1,000, and then I proceeded to modify it by putting some new pickups in it and having some wiring changes done, right? And then I bought this Jazzmaster used on Reverb, and I put some modifications in it. I did the whole rewire myself. I've got a rhythm circuit switch still. I've got a noiseless neck pickup, wide range humbucker from Curtis Novak, and I have a stereo switch right here that you can. It's a push pull that I wired up myself. You can tell those knobs aren't original. But just wanted to talk about what's going on. If you haven't already heard, the gist of it is that Fender started off by taking a company in Dusseldorf, Germany, to court over copyright for the Stratocaster style, the model and the specifications, right? And they won by default because that company didn't show up. Great, good on Fender, protecting their intellectual property, protecting their reputation, making sure that bad strats aren't being sold. Awesome. Where I think the line is drawn for most people is that they're now coming after US builders who have been producing their own S-type guitars for a while now, like decades. The main one that people have been hearing about is LSL, but other companies have been sent cease and desist letters as well. I have not heard any more specifics on who else was sent letters. I think that information has not been disclosed. But if you want to know more, go check out Phillip Mcknight's video on it. You can also check out Rhett Shull's video on it. They do a great job at talking about what's going on with that. But the general feel that I agree with is that people are wanting to boycott Fender. People are now starting to hate Fender over this. A lot of bridges have been burned. A lot of pretty extreme, dramatic statements have been made, I feel. Some people are going as far to sell off every Fender instrument they have, either to be replaced or to not be replaced at all. Some people are just selling off their Fenders and then going to like James Tyler or to Ibanez or Vola or what have you. There's tons of brands that make S-types. Nash. But and then generally people are not wanting to buy any more Fender products, which I think is the right move at this point. it's weird that they're going after people that are making S-type guitars after so long of not doing that. The Fender Strat came out in '54, and they didn't make a fuss about it. They never got the copyright for it. So it seems weird that they're now trying to go after everyone that makes an S-type guitar, especially in the US, that makes an S-type. You know, it's a little weird, and frankly, people aren't happy about it. I'm not happy about it. So here's my stance. I love my Fender guitars. I love my Strat. I bought this new. As I said earlier, I love my Jazzmaster that I've modified. And I love my bass. Come on. Out of here. I love these instruments. I'm not going to stop playing them. I can't afford to replace them. So here's what I think. I think if you are able to go and buy an instrument from a company like LSL, or if you're able to go and get a cool S-type, one that you really like through James Tyler, or Sir, or who else? Who else makes some? Ibanez, PRS Silver Skies, Nash, Vola, whoever. If you're able to go and get one, Tom Anderson. Oh man, if you're able to get a Tom Anderson, go get one. But if you're like me, and getting even $1,000 Strat is risky, and you can't necessarily afford a nice high-end Strat or Fender style instrument, and you have a Fender already, keep it. I think at this point, until Fender rectifies this decision, I hope they decide to walk back their cease and desists. I hope that they reflect on this decision and really up their QC game, because I'll be honest, as much as I love this instrument, as much as I love my Jazzmaster and this bass, the specs could be better, the QC could be better. Until they up their game, don't buy a Fender instrument. Don't buy Squier. Don't buy Fender. That might also, knowing that they also have ownership of Gretsch and Charvel and Jackson and EVH, that might mean not buying any of those either. And this is gonna hurt Fender. I hate to do this, hate to say it, but they've started rolling this ball that they cannot push back up the hill. They can soften the landing, but buddy. But at a certain point, they should have realized this is a bad move. Anyway, if they decide to walk this back, then I think if you want to keep your Fender instruments, do it, by all means. Don't let me tell you what you should and shouldn't do also, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be taping up all the logos on my Fender instruments. So anywhere you see Fender, like up here, or on the back plate of this guitar, I'm going to be taping that up. I'm not going to allow that to be seen right now. And we'll see how things proceed, but if this is something that they can't take back, I might also just scratch off the logos entirely. I don't want to do it. I really don't want to. I love these guitars. I love Fender. I'd love to be a part of their team, but this just feels wrong. So, this was long-winded and unedited, clearly. As you've seen by my cat walking in and out of frame. but this is my stance on it. This is my statement. And I'm curious to know what you all think. What do you think that this is the right move for Fender? Do you think that, are you still going to buy Fender instruments after this? Are you going to not? Will you never buy a Fender instrument again? Do you think that there is a better way to boycott for someone in my position who does not make that much money, that does what he can with what he can afford? And I'm curious, if this goes through and all these cease and desist letters or desist orders go through, which I don't think they will, if I'm being honest. Fender lost a copyright court case a long time ago, and they tried to fight for that. I think that was back in the 2000s, if I'm not mistaken. They tried to fight for that, and they lost. I think they're going to lose again. But what do you think is going to happen? Do you think people are going to stop making S-types? Do you think people are going to... do you think people are going to make even more? Do you think people are going to try and bury Fender? What do you think? I have seen one opinion go around that I've seen some people are excited that Fender is doing this because they're really hoping that people stop making S-type guitars. Obviously they're not going to go around, but I mean, if we're thinking about over the last 72 years that the Stratocaster has been a thing, how many millions of Strats have been made and sold? I think some people are of the mind that it's time for companies to make original designs again, which I don't totally disagree with, if I'm being honest. But I also don't think that means that everyone should stop making Strats. What do you think?